Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Max Emma, certified franchise executive, over 2 decades of hands on experience in the franchise world, from providing booking keeping services to over 100 franchise brands across the US through books keeping, to building his own bookkeeping franchise, to guiding aspiring entrepreneurs as a franchise consultant. Max is a seasoned expert in all things franchising. Welcome to the show, Max.
Hi, it's great to be here.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Max. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about how one can make franchise a success the smarter way. We learn all these tricks of the trade from you, how to be resilient, how to be have entrepreneurial growth in this backdrop. But before that, let's learn a bit about your background, your journey, Max, so that people know, the audience knows who they are listening to, from an immigrant from the former Soviet Union to US 32 years back.
Yes, so seems like yesterday, but it's been 32 years. I've been living in the United States. Was a huge shock for an 18-year-old to move from, the background and France and everybody else to move to the country where I don't speak the language and I have to start working and support myself and going to school. So that was fun. But I strongly believe what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I'm forever grateful for the years that I had when I had to learn English. I had to come up with my own know-how how to do that, and then got a job in about a month, and then went to school, graduated from university, and then worked in corporate America for about 4 years until I realized that corporate America is not for me. And I want to be an entrepreneur. I had no idea what it is. I just jumped into the water and learned how to swim. So had a landscaping business that was very successful, took it from 3 employees to 96 employees, and then it went into bankruptcy because we overestimated what we could do. Plus, the economy went into the recession and they stopped building houses, and we got zero income, but we had a lot of equipment that we had to pay for. So then opened another landscaping maintenance company, was more successful, sold it, and then that led to bookkeeping, which was a bookkeeping company and still is, and that led us into franchising world, where we started doing franchising for was doing bookkeeping for different franchise brands, and now we are doing it for over 100 franchise brands in the United States. Some big ones like Sport Clips, Fast Sign, Signarama, some emerging ones. We don't discriminate, so they all need bookkeeping. And then that in turn led me to believe that we can franchise our own concept. And so now bookkeeping is a franchise, and we're selling bookkeeping franchises all over the United States. We just sold another one in Kansas yesterday. So we're now in 8 states. I'm very proud of that. And a few years in, I realized that, hey, look, bookkeeping franchise is not for everybody, but I do have enough experience and connections to connect people with other franchises. So I opened a franchise brokerage. And now we offer franchises, over 600 of them, to people in the United States. And look, the best part is that we're not getting paid until somebody ends up buying a franchise. Only if they buy, a franchisor gives us a commission, which, by the way, I'm sharing part of it with people who buy through us and paying for their sales training. But if somebody is not buying, then this is just worth a conversation.
Absolutely. So tell us a bit about, bookkeeping. So we'll come to the franchising part, franchise part. I want to understand about your present business. What is this bookkeeping all about, and where does this franchise word come into between?
So bookkeeping provides bookkeeping services for small and medium-sized businesses, but our bread and butter is bookkeeping services for franchisees of different brands, the ones that I mentioned,
Okay.
and 95 plus more. So that's just a monthly bookkeeping for them. creating the financial statements, profit and loss, balance sheet. We also can pay the bills. We can create invoices. Obviously, that's more extensive, but we do offer that as well. We are also specialized in white label bookkeeping for CPA firms, where we do bookkeeping under their name and umbrella. So that's what bookkeeping is about. And bookkeeping franchise is pretty much boots on the ground. So, for example, we have a franchise in Denver, Colorado, and our franchisees there offer the same services to local businesses in the market.
Okay, okay, Max. So if I understand now, you provide bookkeeping services to franchisees of other brands. Okay, that is a good business for you, isn't it?
It's a great business because it's uniform. The franchisor want to make sure that we use, the consistency. So it's not like when, for example, a brand has 800 locations and they have 500 different bookkeepers. It's very hard to manage the financials that you get in. When it's done by us, it's all done in the same format. So it's easier for the franchisor to read and get the information from their franchisees. So they're loving it. Plus, because we get massive number of clients, we give them a massive discount. So which is getting passed to franchisees of different brands. Also, bookkeeping is the national partner of Intuit. So anybody who works with us gets a significant discount on QuickBooks Online. And this discount is good for the life of a subscription. Okay, we're just passing on the savings to franchisees, and they're loving it because they're not paying a full retail price, but they're paying, a discounted price.
Right. So it's a big business and to get, but it's a difficult thing to, convince the franchisers to give the business to you, and then all the franchises come into your hand. How do you differentiate yourself in terms of bookkeeping, especially in today's market when, there is so much of competition in this line?
Look, first of all, I strongly believe in abundance. I believe there is enough work for everybody. I'm not taking anybody's work away. So it's not like one pie and people trying to get a piece of pie. It's unlimited. So you just go and get what you want to get. So that once I changed this mentality, it made my life way easier. Plus, look, unfortunately or fortunately, for a lot of the brands, they only make us recommended, not mandatory. Okay, so it doesn't mean that all 600 brands are gonna jump and start using bookkeeping. And sometimes it's a good thing because if 600 new clients come in today, it'll be a challenge. I'm not saying we cannot do it, but it'll be a challenge to onboard all of them at the same time. Okay, so even if that happens for some brands, we just tell them let's stagger it. Okay, because I want to make sure we provide a great service. And look, I've been doing it. I've had the business. We opened it in 2011 as a part-time gig while running the landscaping company, and then went into full-time in 2013 or 2014. But it's been a while, so we made a lot of mistakes. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it was always perfect. And that's what led us to open a franchise, because I'm telling my franchisees, we're going to tell you what to do, but most likely, most importantly, what not to do, because we've done it, it didn't work. So we really want you to go and learn from our mistakes. As they say it in the former Soviet Union, they were saying that the smart man learns from his mistakes, the wise man learns from somebody else's mistakes. So I tell my franchisees, you want to be wise man, you want to be wise women, you want to learn from mistakes that we already made.
Absolutely, Max. So, in terms of, let's now look at the franchising business itself. In today's time, it's the whole age of startups, and a lot of people want to have their own startups. And in that franchise business, how do you see this competing? Is it a better route for anyone, or should they go for the startup way? How do you like to tell them to think of franchise model rather than get into the whole rumble and rumble of startups?
That's a great question. And pretty much the main difference between franchise business and not franchise. Let's take a pizza shop, for example. Can you figure out how to make pizza? Absolutely. But how many pies are you going to burn before you figure out the exact temperature, the exact number of pepperonis you're putting on the pizza? And then you also, remember, have to do 30 or 40 of them in an hour, and they all have to look the same. Also, how are you going to know the correct layout in the kitchen so the employees are not on each other when they're doing their jobs? So that's what franchising is doing. Plus, they're getting for the franchisees the best ingredients. They make sure that the delivery is done on time, and then it's consistent. Because you go to Domino's, for example, you go to Domino's anywhere in the world, it's supposed to taste exactly the same. You go to McDonald's anywhere in the world, it's supposed to taste exactly the same. Do they have any difference between McDonald's in India or McDonald's in California? Absolutely, but it's very, very consistent. You go in knowing that you're not gonna get food poison. You're gonna get good quality food. Again, we can argue about if it's fast food good or not. That's a different conversation. But if you choose to eat fast food, then you're gonna get a good quality versus to go and eat at Max's Burger Shop.
Absolutely. Now, you see, a startup may say, Max, I can grow my startup in such a big business, then I can give out my franchise to others. But in franchise model, all I get is a head start, but then I own nothing except for whatever I own, and at the end of the day, it is the brand value of another company which is working. How do you think this whole concept of franchise coming up? Do you think the startup concept will go further, or franchise business is going to stay much ahead?
I, with all due respect, I disagree because when you have a brand name, you can sell it for more. You're not obligated. You own your own business. So my franchisees or franchisees of a burger shop or pizza store or whatever it is, they actually own their own business. They just have a right to use the name and know-how of this particular brand. So a lot of people, they build the business, doesn't matter what it is. They then open multiple locations instead of franchising it out, which cost a lot of money in the beginning and throughout the process. I can tell you that from my own experience. They just open different locations, and then they have their own empire, and then they sell it for tens of millions of dollars. I just came back from a huge conference in Las Vegas for the multi-unit owners, and I talked to some people that own 40, 50, 60 businesses. Some are the same restaurant in the whole state. Some are the same haircut salons, and some are diversifying. They have a couple massage, therapies. They have a couple tanning. They have a couple restaurants, and they have a total of 20, 30 businesses. And that's called diversification. And then they combine one unit, let's say haircut salons, under one name, and then they sell it to somebody, and they make ton of money. So it's arguably, once you become a franchisee, you own your own business. You're just paying royalties to the franchisor. All it means that if you are a McDonald's, you can't just wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, I'm going to be selling tacos because I just feel like it, because I'm in Texas, and that people are going to be buying tacos. No, you cannot do it, because McDonald's doesn't sell tacos. So you have to also, you can't just go, I don't like the M on the top, I'm going to take it out and put X or whatever it is. You cannot do it. So you have to be consistent. You have to follow the brand, but you own the business. I always tell my franchisees, or anybody who I sell franchises as a broker, look, you're coming in as the business partner for the franchisor. We're going in it together. It's just you own 95% of the business. I own 5% of the business. That's all it is. I'm a minority partner, but you are the one running it. I'm just giving you advice, telling you how, helping you. And yes, you're paying the royalties. That's part of the deal, because we do the advertising, we do everything else. There is a brand, and especially know-how and the support and the training, of course. Look, like training for bookkeeping, for example, we provide 3 months of accounting school, 9 months of sales training, and 1 year of executive coaching. So we really take it seriously, and it's all free for the franchisees. The value of that training that we provide, on top of ongoing training and support, is more than the franchise fee they're paying us upfront.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what are the trends? Earlier on, franchising used to be seen mostly into food brands or related brands, but now with bookkeeping, I think it is expanding and much more into deeper, different markets, different segments. How do you see this whole trend of franchisee or franchisor or franchisee moving into different segments?
Well, there are 3,000 franchises available, give or take, in the United States right now. Okay, and there are some are very niched ones. Then you just do what you like to do. For example, bookkeeping. We're the only true bookkeeping franchise in the United States. There are no other ones that are doing it. There are some, quite a few of them, that do taxes and bookkeeping. We just do the bookkeeping, and we get a lot of referrals from franchisors. So there are I just met a franchise. They are helping to change the uh, soft tops to hard tops on Jeep Wranglers. That's all they do. And then they store the tops and then change it again in winter and the summer. So that's very niche. But there are also some that are sign shops. There are some that are, medical offices. We can go postal offices, laundromats. We can go and sit here and talk for hours. As I said, in my portfolio, there are over 600 different franchises to choose from. So it's well beyond restaurants anymore. And to be honest with you, I most of the stuff that I sell as a broker are not restaurants, even though for some people that's what they want to do. And then we help them to find the restaurant they're looking for. And look, for a lot of people, you can get legal immigration status to the United States by buying a business. So you have to qualify. And so I'm talking about the E2 visa. I'm not talking about the L1 where you have to spend $1 million. You can get into the United States legally for 100,000 plus dollars. And then you can own the business. You can legally run it, and your spouse can legally work in the United States in any position, and your kids can go to school or university. So you don't need student visa. You go in and out, and it's not a green card, but it's you getting it in, like, you can get it in 3-4 weeks. Okay, so there are a lot of benefits of doing it this way. But again, as I said, it doesn't mean that it's only restaurants. That's well past it. A lot of people think McDonald's was the first franchise, but actually Zinger's sewing machine in 19th century was the first franchise in the United States.
Absolutely, absolutely, Max. So, uh, how have been your journey into entrepreneurship, into franchise owner, and everything? So, how do you? What are the lessons you would want to share for present people who want to get into business either through the startup route or through franchise? Because you have seen bankruptcy from very close to three businesses, and you are sitting in a very comfortable position as of today.
Well, I wouldn't call that comfortable position because, if you think you're in comfortable position, you pretty much stop. So I'm always, challenging myself, and I'm always growing, because I strongly believe when you stop growing, you're dying. Okay. And that's definitely not my goal. So it's not a comfortable position. I'm working hard every day, but the lessons that I learned is I don't know what I don't know. I always ask for help. I always ask for people's advice, but then I make the final decision, okay? Because you ask two people and you're going to get three opinions. So it doesn't mean that if somebody tells you to do it, you just stop everything you're doing and doing it. That's not the case. You listen what other people say. Everybody has different point of views. And there were a lot of times when I did not listen. And sometimes it proved to be a right thing to do. Sometimes it was, I probably should have listened. But what I'm doing now, at least I'm listening people out, and then I'm making a decision based on what I know. So that's one thing. And my personal roadmap, I never leave a door unopened. Okay, if I walk in life and I see a door, I don't care, personal life, business life, I'm going to take a pick. If it's closed, I might knock. If nobody answers, I'll pass by it. But, I'll open the door, I'll see what inside, and I'll decide if it's for me or not. So I don't have any regrets. Well, I should have, I could have, I would have. So I mean, I got biggest clients from just literally walking in the hall from a meeting and seeing a sign, and I would just come in and like, hey, I'm doing bookkeeping, and can I talk to somebody in a company? And I ended up talking to CEO of the companies and getting largest clients. Just literally, I was looking for a restroom. I am not kidding you. When after I was leaving an appointment, and that led to the biggest client of our life so far. So just literally, if I would have passed the sign, it would never happen. So I'm teaching my kids, I'm teaching the franchisees, look for the opportunities. It might not be your opportunity, but you would not know until you try.
Right. So how would we know? Because that we are trying at the right places. Otherwise, it would look like a cold call and with a lot of waste of time. What is? How do I figure out, or is it by instinct, Max? That okay, this place I should certainly try out.
Well, gut feeling or instinct, that's the biggest thing. So you have to listen to yourself. I mean, at least that's what I do. If you believe this is yours, go for it. If you have to use your brain to convince yourself that yeah, that's for me because look, this and that, maybe it's not. So just listen, and I'm not spending hours. If I see and a door, of course, it's figuratively speaking. But if I see an opportunity, I just, slow down for a few seconds and just talk to myself. Hey, is that for me or not? It's not that I'm going and opening my own restaurant franchise tomorrow and then also my own medical office franchise tomorrow because it just sounds great because they're making a lot of money. That's not the case. But opening the brokerage, I listened to myself and I said, hey, I think we can provide more value to the clients. And of course, I have teams in all of my businesses, so it's not just me. We have employees, and they are the ones doing most of the work. All the clients in any business end up talking to me anyway, but before they do, they're actually talking to parts of my team. And then now I have employees in 10 countries between the three businesses. Okay, so it's a multinational, multicultural, but that helps a lot. That makes it fun, and that's what makes us a family.
Right. You talked about 10 countries. Does it also include India? If
Yes,
no,
yes, I
yeah.
actually, I actually, I actually have somebody in India as well. So I have people, as I said, 10 different countries, and it's absolutely great, especially when I go and visit them, and they come and visit us. So that's wonderful. We see each other all the time. So it's not like they're working and I've never seen. So I would say 90% of my team in all the businesses, I've met them personally.
Right, Max. You also put a lot of emphasis on networking. How would you like people to understand about networking in today's time? Especially, people are on their phones all rather than meeting and all. That's why I'm asking in that backdrop.
Well, I mean, the networking, just remember when you go and network, always ask the question, what's in it for them? Because people come and what's in it for me? And then that's how they present all the time. Like when I go to networking, I have a young kid out of college whose job is to get his first client, trying to give me the card. Hi, I gonna have a client for you. Let's have coffee. And he just give me a card. I mean, sometimes I play with him and just say, hey, why? And just playing stupid. But most of the time I just tell him, hey, look, I already have people in your field, and I'm good. Just save the card. So when I go, I never give anybody my card unless I'm asked. I'm
Okay.
talking about people. I'm talking about what's in it for them, what they're looking for. Okay? We might talk for 30 minutes and never get to business. But I know that if we meet again, they'll remember this conversation because it was a meaningful conversation. Talk about something that's important for me. We're not talking about, oh, it was raining yesterday and it's not raining today. Yeah, I wonder if it's going to rain tomorrow or not. This is, doesn't have any meaning. It doesn't have any depth. So what's the point? I don't want to do that. Look, if, and also they have to be very genius. So uh, if you don't like baseball, don't make it up and don't sound that you love it, because at some point the truth will come out and you're going to look stupid. So I always tell people, just find something that you are passionate about, okay? You always can find something. You always can find a point that you can talk about. But again, if you don't care about this particular topic, don't, okay?
Right. The last point I want to understand about resilience. How should people understand resilience, and how do I know, okay, this is the time I should leave this as it is? You faced bankruptcy, you dealt with it. You could have also thought about, let me leave it. I've got enough savings now. I can just sit pretty and live my life. How did you then get down to get whole thing about resilience and creating new businesses for yourself and for the
S-
people around you?
So I didn't have a choice. When we went into bankruptcy, the country was in the recessions. No jobs were available. If there would be a job for me back then in 2009, I probably, and I would regret it, I would give up and go and work for somebody. Say, well, I guess it's not for me. We lost everything. So it was me, my wife, one baby at home, and one on the way. Okay, so we didn't have a luxury of, we didn't have any savings. Everything went into the business. We were trying to fix it as much as we could. It did not work out. So we had to go into bankruptcy. And because it was a construction company in the US, you have to personally guarantee it. So it was personal bankruptcy as well. Okay, so we had to sell the house, move to house that was 4 times smaller, and had to, start from scratch. So when you talk about resilience, for me, I'm not going to stop until people tell me, preferably 2 or 3 times, to stop bugging them. Like, persistent helps. We send reminders. We send, hey, let me ping you. I'm not going to call them every day, but we keep doing it. And the time comes, yeah, thank you for doing it. I wasn't ready, but I am ready now.
Absolutely. So, in a nutshell, Max, how do you look at your, in a nutshell, what would be the biggest reason that you would want to share with people in terms of your success? What would you like to, in a nutshell, tell people about success in business, success in anything that they are doing in life?
I can't tell them anything about success, because my success or my mistakes, it's not theirs. Okay, they're gonna have their own success and they're gonna make their own mistakes. It's a given. All I can do is share my experience and offer them a pair of eyes and ears to listen and to look at their situation. Okay, but I'm not gonna be telling them, do this and you'll be successful. I don't know. I have no idea. And look, it's ultimately their decision, but I'll give them my opinion. That's all it is. All the franchisees of bookkeeping, they are free to make their own decision. I'll tell them what I know. The team tells them how we are doing it, but ultimately they are the ones who will need to listen and make decisions. Like, for example, we return the calls within 24 business hours to the clients. But if our franchisee decided they want to do it in 48 hours, that's their prerogative. They don't have to do what the corporate unit is doing.
Absolutely. There's much to learn about you from you about businesses, about startups, about franchising, as well as about things, looking at life a new way with resilience, and also about networking. So, what's the best way for people to connect with you, Max, and to connect with you, to learn more from you, about you, and also to connect with you for being your client, being your partner?
So they can go to my virtual business card. It's a website, and the name of the website is franchisewithmax.com. It's franchisewithmax.com. franchise.com. And then from there, they can choose if they want to talk about buying a franchise, if they're interested in bookkeeping franchise, or they need bookkeeping for their business. So they can go to Franchise with Max and get connected with me through that.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.